I guess it's time to talk about my movie hot takes. Let's talk about it. Welcome back, everybody. My name is Caleb, and I love diving just a little bit deeper into our favorite TV shows and movies. If you can relate, I'd love to hear from you in the comment section, letting me know your biggest movie hot takes. Just to keep in mind before we start this video, this is my opinion. This isn't the right opinion, it's just mine. And again, I'd love to know what some of your movie hot takes are in the comments below. Right before we dive in, if you are new here, consider hitting that subscribe button, letting me know that you enjoy the content that we put out here. And without further ado, let's get into those hot takes. So I don't really have these ranked in any particular order, but I'm just gonna try and go from like my biggest hot takes at the end. So starting off, I do not think in the slightest that Cars 3 or even Cars 2 is a horrible movie as so many people claim it to be. I really want to defend Cars 3 here though, because I know a lot of people don't think it's good. I think it's one of the better Pixar movies in my opinion. You guys know I'm a huge Cars fan, and I will defend this series up and down until the day that I die, strictly because I think it just completes the circle. You know, in the first Cars movie, we get Doc Hudson acting as his mentor, as the old race car that quite literally got beat out by the new generation. By the time Lightning McQueen is ready for Cars 3, the same exact thing is happening to him. And we get to see that journey. And to me, that holds a really special place in my heart. And I will always defend not only Cars 1, Cars 2, and just Cars 3. I love those movies, and I never have anything like horrible to say about any of them. I think the original 3 Transformers movies are the weakest out of all of them. So essentially, when I watch the Transformers movies, I look for a couple of things, and I look for just enjoyment factor, right? I watched those first 3. Out of those original 3, the first one is definitely the best amongst those 3, but the other 2 are just not good, in my opinion, humbly. I think the characters they have in there are good, but the plot and the way that it goes about itself is way too long and way too drawn out, and it just does not work for me on really an emotional level. It just kind of feels like, no, it just doesn't work for me at all. I think that the ones with Mark Wahlberg actually work pretty well, and I was actually a fan of Rise of the Beasts. I quite enjoyed myself with it, and I know my friend did as well. We had talked about how we enjoyed that movie a lot. I do think Bumblebee is the best Transformers movie. I know that's not a hot take, but yeah, I do not think that the original 3 are nearly as good as the rest of the series. Iron Man 3 is the best Iron Man movie by far. I hear a lot of people talk about how they like the original Iron Man, and don't get me wrong, it's a good movie. Like, I enjoy myself, and it's of course the origin story of Tony Stark. It's a great movie, but I constantly hear people say that they don't like Iron Man 3, and I get the Mandarin thing, but for me, it's not really that big of a deal because I like Aldrich Killian as a villain. I like Tony's adventure in that movie, and I think a lot of the Iron Man, like cool Iron Man scenes we get in that, especially with his like the way that he's implemented the technology to go to him, is really cool, and we really don't get to see that much after that movie. So yeah, I think Iron Man 3 is easily the best Iron Man movie. I do not think that the Fast and Furious movies are bad movies like everyone says they are. I constantly hear that, oh, it's another Fast and Furious movie, I'm not gonna go see it. Why? I mean, I get it's just action, like, but that's what it's about. It's not supposed to be some like emotional driven like thing like the Titanic. It's Fast and Furious. People need to see it for what it is, and for me, I enjoy watching it. Like when I'm watching it, I'm like, oh, I'm having a good time right now. I think even Tokyo Drift, which is actually my least favorite of the bunch, is still a okay movie. Like, I don't hate it, but I think what works about this movie is just like the combination of all these characters and talking together in the race. It's fun. How can you not have a good time while watching this? I think What If is the 3rd best MCU show, not Marvel show, just MCU. Whenever I hear people talk bad about What If, I just look at them, I'm like, did we watch the same show? I mean, when I watched What If, the only episode I really didn't enjoy was the one about Thor. every other episode was a banger. Every episode had something really cool going on, and I'm totally excited for What If Season 2. The thing I constantly hear when people talk like they don't like the show is that it's not canon or that it's animated. Well, Star Wars The Clone Wars was animated and it's considered one of the best Star Wars TV shows, so I don't really see the complaint there. And then people say it's not canon. Well, we're heading into the multiverse saga, so who's to say that it's not? And we've already gotten Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, so who's not to say that it's not canon? It just takes place in other universes. So me personally, I would say that it is canon as of right now. I really enjoy that show. Next up, I think Spider-Man Far From Home is easily the worst Spider-Man movie. As somebody who, you guys might know this, but I love Mysterio and that character, and I like Jake Gyllenhaal as the character. But what I don't like, I was okay with it in Homecoming because Iron Man was in that movie, he was still in New York, and Tony was still alive. But to make your second Spider-Man movie strictly because he was mad at Tony Stark, and the main problem to be that, at least with Vulture, it was like, it wasn't directly Iron Man, it was just that he felt that the world was treating him harshly. It was the world, not specifically Tony Stark. I just don't like what they do with the whole drones thing. You know, I watch a Spider-Man movie, and if the finale is him fighting drones on the Brooklyn Bridge, I'll be honest, I lose interest very fast. I thought it was very boring, uninventive, and just did not enjoy myself at all with that part of the movie. The only parts I enjoy is when I kind of, for a minute, remember that it's not the drones. Like, I can kind of let that go out of my mind and think that it is a real Mysterio fight, and then I remember it's drones again. And to me, they just completely ruined his character in this movie. And that makes me really upset because I love the MCU and I really wanted to see a proper Mysterio in that universe, and I don't know that we'll ever get him. Next up, I think that the Hunger Games series is way better than all of the DCEU. I like the DCEU, I really do, but it only has like 2 or 3 films that I feel like are really solid with me, being like Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and maybe Zack Snyder's Justice League. I think that the Hunger Games are all solid movies. Not a single one of them out of 5 stars. I would easily put every single one of them at the very least above 4 stars. 4 stars or above. All of them deliver on an emotional level, on a story-based level, on an action level, and just coming together. People often complain that like, oh, like why isn't the actual Hunger Games start? Because that's, yes, it is about the Hunger Games, but it's about also what happens outside of that and like everything that leads into that. And for me, I love that universe, and just seeing like the rebellion against the Capitol, it just makes me feel so emotional watching things like that. And obviously you guys know this if you've seen my reactions to the new Hunger Games trailer. This just confirms how good I think that, look at that! I am beyond excited for that movie, so I hope that it joins the rest of the Hunger Games in being some of my favorite movie series. Next up, I want to talk about the Star Wars sequels because I do not think that Rise of Skywalker is as bad of a movie as everyone says it is. In fact, I would even say it is easily better than The Last Jedi, and it's better than Episode 1 and 2. Yes, the only thing that I do complain about with Rise of Skywalker is that she says she's a Skywalker. Not for that, I don't agree. I think it completely takes the whole point. She's trying to say that her name doesn't define her, and then in the end she kind of lets it define her by changing her name. Because I think it would have been much more powerful and impactful if she kept the Palpatine name and made it used for good, but instead she just changes her name, which to me felt a little wrong. But that aside, the movie is fun. I have a lot of fun watching this movie, and I think that the coming togetherness, sure, there's a few lines like somehow Palpatine has returned, but I still think that even with episodes 1, 2, and The Last Jedi, that it's an overall better movie, easily. As my runner-up, I think that Robert Pattinson, I know, Robert Pattinson is easily my favorite Batman of all time. When I watch him, I feel like, yes, this is like exactly what I want in a Batman character. I love that we get to see him from a little bit of his early beginnings, and I just love the universe that they've crafted here. Do not get me wrong, I love the Christopher Nolan Batman, and I love that universe, but For me, Robert Pattinson just feels so much more personal to me. I don't know why. I watch his movies and I get a little bit more invested. I would say that in the Dark Knight trilogy, I am more invested in the villains and the world around it, but specifically, I don't find myself as into Christian Bale's Batman as Robert Pattinson's. And my final hot take is that I just do not think that Lord of the Rings is good. I do not enjoy it. I've tried getting into it multiple times, and every time I watch it, I just see myself in a giant snooze fest. I am like purely trying to watch it just to say something about it. I have no interest in what's going on, and I don't enjoy the characters in it. I think they're all just a little too similar to each other in terms, like, I don't know. I just really don't enjoy it. And I know I'm gonna have a bunch of people like attacking me in the comments, and that's fine. I cannot. Even, and the same applies to The Hobbit. Lord of the Rings, Hobbit, it's kind of the same universe. I just do not enjoy the series. And it's not a fact of like, I don't enjoy that time period of things, because I do enjoy like movies like that. Like I saw, like, I wouldn't say like The Northman is that, because that's Viking stuff, but I do like mythical stories. And for me, that one just falls flat and is not very entertaining at all. Yeah, that has to be easily one of my hottest takes. So that is it, guys. Let me know what you thought of my hot takes. Did you agree with some of my hot takes? Are you gonna write me a death letter in the comments? Whatever it may be, just try to be respectful of others' hot takes as well. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace, everybody.